Hello, my name is Edgar Lok Tin Yung, and this is my website. Again, we are going to talk about Feng Shui, and this is the 13th videos. Hope you enjoy it, and if you are new to here, this channel we are going to talk about Feng Shui, and you can go back to the video. This is the Feng Shui for the beginners or who really interested in Feng Shui and would like to become a Feng Shui consultant or study more Feng Shui. And if you would like to further do the advanced course, I'm welcome to study with me. And today we're still going to talk about the forms. And on the last video we talked about the back, which is the turtles or the back turtles or turtles. So the back is we use the early heaven bagua. The early heaven bagua, the back is like a 3 solid line, and the front is like the 6 broken. The right side is the li gua, and the left side is the kan gua. So we explained about, like last time, there's water, so it's moving. We want it's more active. The center line is more solid. It's like a substance, solid. So we want solid on the left, and the right is like the middle yao. We call it yao. Is empty. So this area is slightly a bit lower or less substance. So it's become more like chi, more like spacious. And the back is called, the turtles or turtles, whatever you want to call it, But I think turtles are a bit more suitable because turtle is more on the land, the land animal. But doesn't matter. It's just a name. So you remember the back is called the turtles, and the back, without seeing the direction first, like when you go to look at one house without seeing the direction, we look at the shape. Remember, we look at the shape, the form, and then the back. The back is very important because the back represents a lot of things. You can get a lot of information from the sitting, from the back. So what can we get from the back here? See, the back is solid, so we want the back of the house more support. Like if there's ideally in the urban rural area, in the rural area you have a very big land, we want a very large mountain at the back. But since we are living in the urban area, so generally if you look at a house at the back, a support, a building or bigger house support like 2-story high. However, though, if let's say this is a house and the back is very tall building, actually is no good. Actually, it's not good. Then this is like kind of suppressed. So you have to go to when you go on site, you look at the forms. If it's too drastic, like too big, like this case, like maybe about 4 or 5 times taller, then that is not a good form. Okay, so the back is generally in the Feng Shui, in the Yin Feng Shui or in the rural part, you have like incoming dragon. So you have a mountain and you build a house there. So the incoming dragon or burial place is a support. So it's more the support from other people, and also it means the next generation, the children. That's why if you look at in the rural area, if they build the house correctly, got incoming dragon, then they will have more children. But in the urban living, in the city living, like we hardly can find the incoming dragon. So the incoming dragon cannot be traced in a lot of places. So we're only doing the facing. The facing is water. So generally in the urban living, we are more focused on money, not children. So the incoming dragon, so we're not going to go into that. So in the back, the support, like for a house in a normal suburban suburb, if the house at the back is taller, then we call it as a support, and it's a good thing. So the back we want solid, so we want a mountain. That will be good, or slightly taller, like if the land, the road are slightly higher, and you build the house like that, slightly, not too much. And we don't want to go on the other way, like this. If that's the house, like that, and that's the back, like this is the back, and that facing that way, then it slope down. That means it's no support. So if you go for looking for houses to buy, then looking for this configuration, then the back is more support. Higher is a support, and if the back, like there's another house there, a bit taller, that's good, there's a support. So a lot of time, some people, ask me about, if there's a park at the back, like if there's higher and there's a park at the back, like that's the park, that's okay. But if it's very flat, or even going down a little bit, and your house built here and face this way, then it's not so good. And then remember in the last case I talked about, that if there's a freeway in the back, like this, car going up and down, very busy at the back of the house, or a railway track, the railway, also not very good for pregnancy or fertility. If let's say in this kind of configuration, what you can do is you can build a slightly higher fence, build a fence or grow trees, for trees, and to protect the house. That's if you already live in such a configuration houses, we can do this. Or the other way is you can build a garden bed. Garden bed is like, if you, let's say we have a house, facing this way, we're looking from the sky, then you build a garden bed, surround the house, and it's raised, this is raised maybe about half meter from the ground, and that will be very effective. In Feng Shui, actually, there's a saying called 千金大門四兩屋，萬兩就做花台. What this means is the gate of the door to the house is actually worth thousands of golds, and the house itself is only 4 gram. That means the qi, to receive the qi and build this gate correctly, is very important. However, the garden bed at the back is worth more. It's more 10,000 grams of gold. So if you are moving into the house and the back is slightly go down, or the road is very busy, you can build a garden bed that will support the house, support fertility. Then the back, sometimes, remember we talked about laneway last week. So if there's a road coming in, it happens to be a small laneway, and then this is a laneway, and this road hit to the back of the house, then that's not so good. Because the back of the house, remember, is fertility, support children. So the back of the house actually also represent the kidney. The back of the kidney is the kidney. Like if you're standing face in front, your back, the kidney is the kidney at the back, and the spinal. So if there's a road hitting this way, they very easily have like a kidney issue or spinal issue. So again, very important is grow some trees, grow some tree inside your backyard here. Let's say this is inside trees, and then the garden bed that will help a lot. Very good feng shui solve for a slope down backyard or very busy road at the back, and also will help the fertility. So in this scenario, we'll keep going to another configuration is swimming pool. So in Australia, there's a lot of houses. Let's say this is the house, and then they build a swimming pool at the back. So that is not a good configuration, because the water is very active. Water is yang, is active. The back is called the turtles. We want this very solid, very support. But in this case, if you put a pool there, and then you have like filter, you have motor, and there's an activation at the back. So generally we will avoid about like this 45 degree of the back of the house. We don't want to have activation. What happen will this activation cause is first fertility issue, kidney issue, prostate. If it happened to be sitting north, like this is north and facing south, then that issue will be more severe. So, but we will talk about each direction a little bit later. But just thinking of this. That's and the back. See the qian is the qian gua. Qian gua is also the head. So as the form, our head is very solid. If when you sit down, you imagine if someone at your back walk around, doing some annoying things, you feel very uncomfortable. This is exactly the same case. You look at the house as your head, and someone at the back or some energy keep moving, keep activating, then that will brings you, headache, and also you cannot concentrate, or children may not be concentrating, in such a house configuration, and also may be easily making a bad decision in terms of investment. So what would be the worst configuration? What would be the worst configuration for this house? The worst configuration, actually, if we look at the direction-wise, is when the early heaven and the later heaven gua, they match. So if, let's say, a house sitting northwest, okay? So northwest is the later heaven Qian Gua. And the northwest, the later heaven Qian Gua and the early heaven Qian Gua, they are overlap. So if in this case, and they have a swimming pool here, so that is a double, the energy is double, bang in this case. Double impacts, because the early heaven and the later heaven gua, they are matching. If happen to be someone born in the year of born in the year of the dog, born in the year of the shoe, the year of the dog, or year of the pig. Hi. Because in the Qian Gua is the Su Qian, high, the Su and Qian high. So those born in the year of the dog, year of the pig, and they happen to be live in this house with the back have a swimming pool, and the land is slanted, slope down to the back. It is not a good configuration. It will be very, very, very no support, very difficult to have next generation children. Also, their decision making will be very no good, very messy. And then the head have water, and then would develop some diseases related to the head, like Alzheimer, Parkinson, things like that. So have to be very careful about swimming pool. But sometimes most of the clients ask me, where should we build a swimming pool? So the swimming pool generally, in this case, if they are able to build on the green dragon side, like this, the facing, and they build slightly onto this side here, green dragon. If there has no space, then white tiger also you can build on the white tiger side, but you have to be very careful about the sector across, whether it will across to the Qian or in the Duigua area. So that is very, very important. So the turtles at the back, it also will happen to the middle son, or the second, the fifth, and the eighth. Nowadays, maybe they don't have that many children, but the second son will have some issues.